It's Talking Reds again. Gareth Roberts, Craig Hannan. Before we start then, football's an emotional game, isn't it? Especially when you're a supporter of it. And when you've been going for 28 years, I think every now and again it's alright if you just lose your rag. And I lost my rag yesterday. I just thought, just everything lately about Liverpool all came tumbling down on my head like a load of bricks. So the last two matches have been crap. We sold Coutinho and we're not replacing them, as the manager's revealed. Sturridge now has gone to West Brom. And I just think, I don't know, I just lost it a little bit. I just suddenly thought, you know what, Liverpool are just too nice. Like, why have we let those two players go? Because they wanted to go, and because, you know, we're perceived as being sound, and we, you know, if they don't want in, then they're out, and that sort of thing. Kind of get it, but at the same time, both players could have helped Liverpool, I think, in the rest of the season. But we've let them go. And then I started thinking, and then you've got like Emre Can, captain in Liverpool, when he's leaving. You've got massive kicking balls out when there's a fella on the floor when we needed to get a goal, and then giving it back to West Brom afterwards when they didn't even kick it out. And then you've got Phil Coutinho, who left, who agitated for a move, coming back to Liverpool the day before a game, and everyone's like having a little party with him and posting stuff on Instagram. What's going on? Why aren't Liverpool ruthless in their chase for glory? This doesn't say ruthless to me. And if I'm a fan, I might just be a narc, maybe I'm negative. You're all going to tell me in the comments anyway. Not bothered. That is how I felt yesterday, and I just suddenly thought, what are we doing? And I know everyone's had a bit of a say on Sturridge going to West Brom. He picked them over Newcastle, a loan fee of £2 million, and they will cover the players £120,000 a week wage. They're second bottom of the Premier League. Sturridge is obviously from that sort of area of England. You'll be back among family. I'm sure for him it's great, and he gets a chance, 14 games maybe there, to force his way into the World Cup squad for England. Cracker. How does it help Liverpool though? Well, a little bit of money in the bank. Money in the bank doesn't score goals though. Money in the bank doesn't come off the bench and get you one if you're struggling. And instead now we're relying on what? Ings, Solanke and Woodburn. Well, none of them have got great pedigree at scoring goals. And Sturridge has. And I just think, you know, look, and I get when people say he hasn't been on the pitch much. There's a graphic which Sam should be putting up on the screen round about now as we talk about it, from Andrew Beasley, bass tuned to Red on Twitter. A good follow. He's always digging the stats out, Big Red, and as I say, where to follow there. And you look at that, he's compiled a table there, minutes played, goals and assists, and minutes per goal contribution. Coutinho top of the list there with 12 goals and 8 assists. Minutes per goal contribution, 75. Sturridge in third place. Okay, only 514 minutes. Shut up drilling downstairs. 3 goals, 3 assists. 86 minutes per goal contribution. And in fact, last time we played Huddersfield, who we played tonight, guess what? Sturridge scored. And I mean, look, everyone, right, there's this thing sometimes I think where people just go, well, you don't support Liverpool if you slag them off a little bit, if you don't agree with every single decision. Well, fucking bollocks. I've been going for 28 years and I'm pissed off. I'm pissed off because it feels like another season that might go off the rails. It's only 2 bad results, I get it. There was a run of 18, I get it. But still, we've weakened the squad. Why have we weakened the squad in an attacking sense before you say Virgil van Dijk? I'm made up about Virgil van Dijk. I love him, he's boss, but he's not going to fix it all by himself. And all of a sudden, we're 1 attacker down. Then we're 2 attackers down. And this idea yesterday in the press conference, I'm going to let Craig speak in a minute.
Okay, go on.
That Klopp says, I don't think Phil would have helped a lot in these situations. Fantastic player, but that wasn't the problem. We need to find the way back to the winning track. The solution is not out there on the transfer market. There's not something out there for us to get because we think first of all we have to use our players. Long term we will do a lot. In the short term, I don't think we will. Philippe, Coutinho is not to be replaced in this transfer window. We have to stop thinking about it. It's not replacing anyone. It's about using our own opportunities, tools, players, tactics, all that stuff. I mean, how do we know that he wouldn't have helped? I mean, he's a player for a start-off that takes free kicks, that takes corners. And on the free kicks against West Brom, no one knew what they were doing. You had Trent and Salah arguing with each other. There doesn't seem to be a designated free kick taker. Phil, meanwhile, can put them in. And so he's not here anymore, so we can't put them in. And, you know, he was on corners. He's a fella who drives from midfield. He's a fella who, look at the Newcastle game, for instance, away. Poor performance. He scores a goal out of nothing. Okay, we only end up drawing. But he's a difference maker. And we're one difference maker down. So this idea that we just go, oh, it's sound. I don't get why it's sound. We've got loads of games. We've got 14 league games. We want to go deeper into the Champions League. We've got at least 2 in that. Okay, we're out the FA Cup now. But sorry, I'm pissed off. And I know I shouldn't be pissed off. We're going to Huddersfield tonight. When I get in the ground and I get up for it and I've had a bevy, I will back the Reds all the way. I hope they win. I think they will. Huddersfield are shit. Liverpool are good. But I'm still pissed off about how January has unfolded, because it seems to me we end up at the end of January weaker than we were at the end of December, and that makes no sense to me.
You all right, Han?
Yeah. That was a good rant, wasn't it?
Do you want to cuddle? Look, I think what Gareth needs first and foremost is a nice day out in Huddersfield, some real ales. We'll go and watch the Reds. The Reds win, yes, and we'll all be happy tomorrow. But I think what you said is right. I think you've boxed it all, to be honest. I think we could just finish it now. But I think it's okay to be negative. It's okay to question decisions that Klopp's made, that the club have made, especially at the moment when not many of us can sort of understand why they're doing these things, why we've managed to come from such a position of strength going into the January transfer window, having just signed Virgil van Dijk, having been on a brilliant run, them beating Everton, them beating Man City, and losing 2 of, well, our most important player in Philippe, Coutinho, and one that can certainly contribute, not just in the Premier League but in the Champions League as well. We've seen him do it in Europe before for Liverpool. I'm gutted about Sturridge going, to be honest. I know there was a lot of back and forward on social media yesterday about, you know, he's never there, we can't rely on him, blah blah blah. But I would just rather a sporadically available Daniel Sturridge than having to, or knowing that we're going to have to rely on Danny Ings and Solanke at some stage, because Firmino's not going to be able to play every game this season, and he may get injured at some point, and heads will fall off at that stage. And
the money we're getting out of it isn't the difference maker.
1.5 million.
You know, that's a couple of million quid. I know we shouldn't be blasé about money, and I'm not. What I'm saying is, Liverpool's strategy, Liverpool's direction is dictated by what they do on the football pitch, not a little bit of money in the bank. They need to win games, they need to get back in the Champions League next season, and Sturridge potentially could have helped with that. And to not replace him, then you're a man down. Equally, you're a man down with Coutinho. And okay, I get Van Dijk coming in, but he's not an attacker. You know, it's a different end to the pitch. And you've seen so many teams set up, you know, the low block, frustrate, all that. You need difference makers. Both of them are difference makers, and to not replace either of them, because it seems like Liverpool are doing no business at all. You know, it closes tomorrow, 11 o'clock at night. You know, we'll have the usual facade around Jim White, yellow ties, all that bullshit. And none of it's going to involve Liverpool again. How is that not frustrating?
It seemed like that for the last 2 weeks. It was about 2.5 weeks ago where the journalists on the Liverpool patch were reporting that, no, it looks like there's going to be no signings. And that to me is worrying, because, you know, we're seeing players that are becoming available, and I know there's loads of talk around Aubameyang and people like that, Lucas Moura, and we see Spurs are doing things like that. Well, players like that are becoming available, and the very fact that they sort of set their stall out at the beginning and said, no, looks as if we're not going to be bringing anyone in. I can't work out whether it's stubbornness from the manager, whether he wants to wait for his targets like we've seen him do before with Van Dijk, with Keita, he's having to wait on him. And I'm just worried Liverpool are just going to wait too long. We're always going to be a transfer window behind. But
even that Keita, you know, Leipzig said there was some kind of money that would have tempted them to do it in January, and Liverpool haven't paid it. So, you know, this idea that there's no one available, that there's no solution, availability is subjective. Availability is based on what wage you're offering the player and what fee you're offering the club. So have Liverpool tried hard enough? Have they offered enough money? Or are they penny pinching again? Are they deciding as a committee, as a club, FSG included, that's too expensive, let's wait? They decide on a transfer strategy. They back Jurgen Klopp up. He wants Keita, and they did try and get him in January, and they failed. But, you know, to what cost? If we miss out on the Champions League, it's another backward step, and it makes the following season even harder. We need to be in it consistently, back to back. And okay, right now we're fourth, but, you know, there's not that much room for manoeuvre. There's only a 2-point gap over Spurs now. Okay, Spurs play United on Wednesday.
Yeah, but the two teams beneath us are are about to or have strengthened. And you can say Arsenal lost Alexis Sanchez, but Alexis Sanchez done fuck all for Arsenal over the past 4 months. They brought in Mkhitaryan, they're bringing in Aubameyang, who's banging him in Germany, has done for years. You look at Tottenham, they've reacted, they've seen that Lucas Moura's become available. Like, you're not telling me someone like Lucas Moura, you'd rather bring on someone like Solanke or Ings than a Lucas Moura and maybe move one inside, or there's just.
I mean, ingredients might be all right. I thought ingredients looked better at the weekend. He looked sharper, and maybe he's going to be all right. We don't really know what his level's going to be. He hasn't played footy for 2 years.
I'm not okay with all right though. Like, if we're gonna,
you're on special.
Like it's never been as competitive for top 4 places, and I hate this idea that we just get top 4 and then that's the achievement for the season. But we were banging on last week about how important it is for Liverpool to win a trophy and how important it'll be to finally have something to celebrate. I know we've got Champions League, that'll be difficult, and it's been made more difficult now because we've lost 2 players that could have helped us. So it's look, everyone's a bit downbeat at the minute, and I think tonight we just need
gotta win. You've got to win, Reds.
I'd love a win in a performance.
You've got to win
a performance.
Reds, come on. Huddersfield away. We beat them 3-0 at home. We were comfortably better than them second half after a bit of a frustrating first half. Liverpool have never lost successive league games under Jurgen Klopp, nor have they failed to score in back-to-back top-flight matches under Jurgen Klopp. I mean, look, there are positives, obviously. Mo Salah, 25 goals, 18 in the league, 18 goals for Firmino, 10 assists. Mane's got 9 and 6 assists. Tonight you expect Henderson to return, who I thought did okay when he came on against West Brom, added a little bit of urgency to the side. And Wijnaldum, Chan, one of them will probably miss out, and both of them have been struggling. So no great loss.
I'd love a little bit of ingenuity in that midfield, just someone that can sort of engineer a chance out of nothing.
Yeah.
Because we've not seen that. We've not seen that over the last couple of games, and that's where sort of Klopp's quotes fall down. Really, I was sort of scratching my head at them, thinking, well, that's just a mad statement to make, that someone like Philippe Coutinho can't sort of engineer or create a chance out of nothing.
There's a thing, isn't he, that he's got to speak, he's got to go in front of the cameras.
Yeah, I feel sorry for him in that. I feel sorry for him.
Sometimes, what is he expected to say? But still, we all have a bit of a breaking point at times, and as I say, mine was last night. My head was just gone. I was like, here we go again, Liverpool. Why can't you just make that next step in ambition? Why can't you get that one more player? Why can't you just lift morale when morale needs lifting? But we'll see. I mean, the usual quotes have been made from players as well about get back on track, find what it was to win 18 games and all that.
I hate them.
I know. I mean, again, it's just, they're contractually obliged by the Premier League, especially when they're on the telly, to do interviews ahead of the game, during the game, after the game, half-time, full-time. I've read the book, I've read the handbook, it's very boring, but they've got to do it. So they've got to say something, and often it can be a thing that ends up winding up the fans, like this. Anything else about tonight? Klavan and Lallana are out. Would expect Robertson and Gomez to return.
Yeah, definitely.
Karius back in goal as well. Make of that what you will. And as I say, Spurs v United tomorrow. So vital that Liverpool win in every respect, but vital also because those two are playing tomorrow. One of them could lose, obviously they could draw, whatever. That would be beneficial to Liverpool in all ways. So we've got to get the points on the board ahead of that match. Bit of a strange one from Klopp as well in the press conference that has come out in the papers today about he criticised the forwards for the West Brom performance, said that they need to work harder, and he's made the whole team watch the video of the match again, pointed out where they went wrong, but the quotes that have come out in the media today criticised the forwards. So while he's defended them publicly and said he didn't think there was any complacency, this seems to slightly contradict this, and whatever he's seen or whatever data he's using or whatever, he seems to think that the forwards didn't put it in work rate wise against West Brom. I mean, they see different things when they analyse games, don't they? Because when I was in the ground, I just thought we defended awfully, but he's not mentioning.
I think we're just so reliant on those three to work well and play well for us to to secure 3 points or to beat a team. So I thought that was a little bit unfair, but again, do you know, with these kinds of things, I just never believe a word a manager says, like in terms of whether it's an interview, a press conference. I always think what he's telling the media is probably completely different to his players. He's probably telling his players, what I say out there, don't you take heed of that, because what we talk about in here is what's important. But look, we've seen how quickly our moods can swing within 7-8 days and 2 games played. But if we can beat Huddersfield tonight and we can go on and beat Spurs, then the mood swings the other way. I just think everyone's just so frustrated at the minute because we've got ourselves to this position, and it always seems as if Liverpool get to this position, and then it's almost like, well, now we're here, we're okay with that, or now we're sitting here, we'll just get ourselves to 4th, and that's something. Well, we shouldn't be thinking like that. We should be thinking, what can we do to get as close to Man City as possible? Well, it's not sell your best player, it's buy a new player, it's buy a centre back, which they did, and yeah, I think that's why everyone's frustrated at the minute, and rightly so. It's okay to be, but 3 points tonight, Reds, please.
Yeah, coming up on the Anfield Wrap later this week, something we're really proud of, something that the lads behind the scenes have been working hard on. It should be good. We think it's great. Here's a little preview of it, and we'll be back in a minute with the papers.
It felt like Kenny's magical effect over the club, I suppose like Shankly's before him. It seemed like it needed to go on forever, and yet it had to stop.
Kenny's quiz, I went, oh yeah, whatever, yeah. No, he has, and there's the front page, and I went, Jesus Christ, it just hit me, And I remember looking at that front page, and he looked a lost man.
It's probably overstating it to say it felt like a death, but it did feel like an ending.
I mean, Shankly said, the pressure eats away at you. This job eats away at you. If you love the club that much, it eats into your soul.
That's a tour moment in time. Catch up with that this week. Looks good, doesn't it? Get involved, give it a watch. Okay, the newspapers then. I mean, the newspapers are actually dominated by Liverpool stories, and obviously we've already done that in depth. Sturridge has his baggies packed. More on VAR there, but we're not going to do that because we did it yesterday. Back at the Times as well, Sturridge grinning in a West Brom kit, which always looks a little bit weird when a player gets off. Sturridge there as well on the back of the Mail. He turned down Newcastle for that move, presumably to be near his family, because he is of course from the Midlands, which is fair enough. Yeah, quality of life and all that sort of stuff. The other thing that is on the back of the papers as well, most of them, is the idea that Giroud is going to head for Chelsea. They've been looking for a big fella that can head things all through the transfer window. Gone through so many names, it's unbelievable. Now it seems that they might get Giroud. There's like this weird Mexican standoff here where Arsenal want Aubameyang, Chelsea want Giroud, and Dortmund want Batshuayi, and they're all sort of there's this triangle of a deal waiting to happen. Presumably it will happen.
Just kind of have to like click accept at the same time. Yeah. And you just go, no.
I mean, like the Giroud one's interesting, isn't it? Because that's a bit of a punt. It seems that they could end up paying about 30 million quid for him. But I mean, that's a case where if that does happen, that's something that the manager there, Conte, has obviously wanted. He wants a bit of a plan B there, a big lad who can head stuff. If they end up getting them, then they've done the job, haven't they, behind the scenes, Chelsea, for the manager. And this goes back to what I was saying in the first half. Are the transfer team, are the owners, are they doing the job for Jurgen Klopp? Have they tried hard enough this window? Up to you to decide. We're not privy to every bit of information that's out there. Not much else in the papers really to get into, not that we haven't already covered. So I've thrown a bit of a wild card in here for you, Craig.
I haven't seen this yet.
So that's good. So basically, it was the FA Cup draw yesterday. Of course, Liverpool weren't involved. We would have got Southampton. So swings and roundabouts. We played them enough times recently, haven't we? On the board, and so let's just leave that. Yeah. But what I thought was FA Cup weekend, the next round. Obviously, Liverpool won't have a game now, so you've got a bit of a space in your football watching calendar. And so I thought, well, what am I going to do with that? And I mentioned before on here that quite a few of us will take in a non-league game. Maybe a Marine, City or Liverpool, Prescott Cables, that sort of stuff. But then I thought, well, FA Cup weekend. Wigan pulled Man City out of the hat, and so they're playing Man City at home. A replay of the FA Cup final when Wigan won the cup and then went down. You're probably thinking, well, why is he banging on about Wigan? Well, Paul Cook, the manager, is Scouse as they get, Kirby lad, boss Scouse accent. And you may not know, because it didn't get coverage in the papers but it wasn't all over social media. After they beat West Ham on Saturday, he's in the press conference, and because it's a big game, and because it was an expected shock, and because it involved a Premier League club, there was a bigger than usual room of journalists there. And, you know, obviously Paul, when he walks out to speak to them, he doesn't know who they all work for. It's just a load of people sitting in seats. You know, they're not wearing badges saying what paper they're from. And he made it clear when he walked out in front of them all. He just basically said, if any are from the Sun, don't ask me a question because I won't be answering it. Is right, Paul. More of that sort of stuff. Let's never forget what them bastards did. So I'm right behind what Paul did there. And I think if you're looking for a game that weekend, and you want to go and back a Scouser, and you want to see City get knocked over by, you know, the League One side, which would be nice, wouldn't it? Because you don't want them winning Everton this season. Because if they win Everton, it's even easier for them to buy better players, and on we go, and the gap gets bigger between us and them. So I reckon, I'm just throwing it out there, get down there, have a pie, support Wigan.
A pie and a barn.
Support Paul Cook, and let's get City knocked out the FA Cup.
I think I'm just going to have the weekend off, Gareth, to be honest. Weekend off from football. I know. Do you know what? I'm really jealous of Man City, by the way. Sorry to piss in your... But do you know what? I think...
You pissed in my pie bar.
Yeah, I know. But I'm gonna have the weekend off. I think I was whenever I saw the draw, I didn't watch the draw because it's too soon in that. But whenever I saw on Twitter that Man City had got Wigan away, I was just thinking, you bastards, that's what I wanted. Imagine us going to Wigan, you get the whole end.
The whole end, and then
it's only close by. We'd have had a lovely day, pie in a barn, which sounds wild. I can't get my head around that.
40p extra for butter.
But yeah. We're just going to have a day off, Gareth, I think, from the footy.
Okay. On the Anfield Wrap today, the coach home was out, where Neil et al. Speak to supporters of other clubs about what's going on at their club. And then, of course, Huddersfield away. We're going over this afternoon, and we will be recording a pink live on the road somewhere, maybe on the train, maybe in a pub. Who knows? We'll find somewhere, we'll get it done, and we'll get it out there. And hopefully, we'll be talking about a Liverpool win, a comfortable Liverpool win, a 4-0 Liverpool win, hopefully. That's been Talking Reds.